So we were like trying to understand what's the advantage of using. So let's close this. What's this? Let's open it. I'm trying to understand why is having this name here. Is this like telling it? Oh yeah, insert always do this. Sometimes controls doesn't go off in Xcode. Your code has a small the function definition uses name, which is a bit inconvenient. Shift allows you to different names. Remove the external parameter if you want to use only the internal name. Okay. So by although it is not an error, but function does not allow. But shift does allow. No, but this is allowed, right? I can. So like just write the same parameter name that has been passed here, and then this basically used to indicate that name has been renamed to internal name. So use internal name. Suppose if there is no need of, you can also ignore the as underscore as well. There is an option where yes, it shouldn't have any extra. Okay, so basically this is saying that this external parameter name which has been now converted to an internal name. The other option will be saying underscore saying that there is no external argument, but then when I call this, so I have to change here as well. So when I use, okay, let's write another function. Then now I'm going to say use of underscore to omit external parameters. So when I say function external parameter, then I say underscore, then I say name colon, then I say do string parenthesis, then I say print, then I say okay, let's do function is func us. Now when I'm going to call, let's say don't have, just pass in the string whatever it is. There is no need to pass it like a name. I mean, there's no need to give it a external parameter name. Just pass it. This is backslash parenthesis. Okay. Now, while there are many cases where using underscore is the right choice, C programmers generally prefer to name all their parameters. To think about it, why do we need the word string in function? Why? What else would we want to count letters on? So what you commonly you see is external parameters like a and for and with no meaningful internal names. So the swift way of writing this function is like in. This means when you call the function with the parameter name in, which would be meaningless inside the function. However, inside the function, the same parameter is called string, which is more useful. So the function can be like, this is like a this is like again a parameter name, right? So inside it will be more when the function description takes place, it will be more. So here in is not a keyword. I mean, he's not using n as a keyword. It's just like a parameter name. Yeah, like this. Okay, now return values. Now Swift can return a value by writing. Okay, so now in the definition we'll have to mention like what type of value is going to be returned. This is mandatory. Now once you do this after the parameter list, once you do this, it will ensure that the function will return a value no matter what. So again, this is making a promise that you're going to return something. Okay, so let's go and then do 50 way, and then parameter list, and then let's have like let's do in, so that then let's have a string. So this is going to be string, and then this is string, and then this should return a bool, and then this is going to say print, and then parenthesis hi, and then do string, and don't forget the return. So say return true. Now expected, yeah, this is right, so I'm returning something. There's no need to write semicolons. You can just skip those and then come here and then write call the function, right? So then this is 50 sw, this is 50 in, I'm going to pass hello, and then just execute this by calling hi hello, and then to the return value is bool. Oh, you can read once that value returns, you can assign it to where return again. Do we need to mention the type here? I guess cannot create a single element. Okay, but there is no need to mention the type because the type will be inferred. So print the value type is inferred, right? So yeah, no need to mention that annotation. Okay, now if you want to try a switch case knowledge, so you're going to apply if album trailer name is red. Okay, so notice what this is doing. If now this is an if. Oh. If you want to try a switch case knowledge, this function is a place where it will work well. Oh, so here this is a function which is returning something and which is then being used as a condition. Okay, if your function returns a int value and has only one line of code, you can now let's go to some cheeky ways of writing Swift. Yeah, so if my function has only one line of, then you can omit the return keyword entirely. So omit return. For example, I'm going to say fun. This is it's get this is get and then no parameters, going to return a int. Now see here, just return, don't write, just write 32. So this means that this is returned value is 8 minutes. So whatever, when I run this, the return value is directly going to be 32. See, in 32 it's, but then this is only one line of code. For multiple line of code we need to mention it. Okay, No, optionals. Now, Swift is a very type-safe language, right? Because here we are always making sure that whatever we return or whatever variables we declare when they are not assigned, we always make sure that they have a particular type. Swift is a very type-safe language which I mean it works hard to ensure that your code never fails in surprising ways. One of the most common ways that the code fails is when it's trying is to use data that is bad or missing. For example, imagine a function like this. The function doesn't accept any parameters and returns a string hit. But what if today is a particular sunny day and those haters don't feel like hitting what then? Maybe we want to return nothing. This hater is doing no hitting today. Now when it comes to a string, you might think an empty string is a great way to communicate nothing, and that might be true, but how about numbers? Is 0 an empty number or -1? Before you start to create imaginables for yourself, accept solution. An optional value is a value is one that might have a value or might not. Now this is very important whenever uh, for example, like when we are making a call like a fetch, when we are trying to get data from a server, so sometimes it might happen that it might take some time, so then we don't know the type of data what is going to come, right? So then that annotation thing, if you assign it directly to a variable, then it would be very risky, right? Because sometimes you may get some corrupt data when the connection or something is not established properly. So then for that we have something called as optional. Now when we use string, it definitely means that it will return a string, which means this kind of function cannot return no value and thus can be called safe in knowledge that you okay. Now the extra question mark string means no, oh yeah, so then here what he is saying is, so then so suppose if you do not get the value, then it kind of becomes a problematic issue, right? And what if we were using that value and in a function, and that function was to return a string, but then because of some corrupt data we got something else there, so then that function would say where is the return value. So for this we have something called as an optional. Swift has option. The option is basically a value is one that might have a value or might. Now optionals insert. Optionals in Swift may or may not have a value. The most different finds options difficult to, and I'm going to try explaining it in several ways, so hopefully one will work. For example, imagine a survey and a scale of 1 to 5 how some is Taylor Swift. Someone will mention 1 to someone they wouldn't even have even heard, but then it's very rare that you have not heard about Taylor Swift. Okay, that's another topic to be discussed. I would fairly slating her, but I will be praising her, and then there will be someone like suppose if someone is a hard metal fan, you wouldn't listen to Taylor Swift, right? The solution is optional. It's like I don't want to private. This means now when I mention the return type, it means that the return value will be definitely be a string. But if suppose if the function cannot return value, then it will be a given error. So we need to be safe. Like the execution needs to be safe. So in that, what we can do is this function might or might not return a value. We just put a question mark in front of this. So suppose if there is no return mentioned here, even that will still work. For example, what if we are returning nil? Now even this will work. This will still work. This basically Swift is going to like handle those values like in a very what you say in a very elegant manner. Okay, so now this is how to return an optional. Like But then how should I assign it to a variable? Now this will indicate directly that the value returned is the string, but what if an optional? So then we need to put a question mark there as well, saying that even this can be an optional. And not a string, so you can pass in an optional here to answer real string. Okay, that okay. So first, let's see this part. Let's try coding this thing. So say function get equal name, and then parentheses the string, and then this is a return value. So now then um, and then let's come here. Okay, now since it has an optional, what do you say? 3 consecutive. Oh, so there should not be any space here. And cannot find get in scope. Oh, I'm not. Oh, so I'm just going to call. Right. This is going to be G and the. Oh. So then, this is just calling the function. So this will still work, right? Your head is getting returned because weather is. Oh, so let's what if I do semi? I do run. Yeah, the nil is getting. If I don't make this, and see nil is incompatible return type string. So okay, now again, now when we return this value, suppose ideally we would expect that suppose if this is not there, then when I was using type annotation, I would say that my value 3 is basically a string, right? And now I'm trying to assign it over here. Suppose if I go let's assign this to return value 3 again. Then it's not compare because but then what if I have something else? So it will always check that the return value should be proper in all statements, right? Now here is the problem. Okay, now even if I make this an optional, but then the problem is here. So we cannot directly assign optionals. When we directly try to assign and return value which is an optional to a variable, we will get an error. To this is not. So and even if you do, okay, so one is you like do this way. The other method would be, as I said, directly assign the value. But then again, the problem here is it might think that the return value is, oh, again it might. So because here it's expecting the return value to be string, but then here in one case I'm getting something else, right? I mean, when I write this, it says that the return value may or may not be string. So I cannot do directly accessing cannot be done. Okay, so let's write here. So these cannot be directly assigned to variables. Like we need to do something. So then now how to do that? Okay. Now there are two ways of doing it. I would say there are 2 to 3 ways of doing it. Okay, first is, okay, so now we will have to unwrap this variable. So this is process is going to be unwrapped. You've got two solutions, but one is definitely preferred over the other. The first one is calling optional wrapping, unwrapping, and it is done inside a conditional statement. Not to the solution is. We are talking about the solution. How to do that? So solution is, the first is do optional unwrapping. Now done using if else. How is it done? So come here, say if let, well, why is it so what I'm trying to say is, if I have an optional what if I have a non-optional value, so then perform whatever is here and then do that what the now if let me say can unwrap in one succinct line of code, which makes them very common. Okay, now and let's shift use type interference. This is what the first, like assigning variable is, like you basically do a type in inference, so like directly assign it, so let this be as well. Wait. Like when we have to do unwrapping, when we are trying to access. Force unwrapping is not. Like when have we to perform wrapping and unwrapping? So I know optional basically says that the value may exist or not exist. Perfect. This is true. Okay. Now wrapping and unwrapping. Okay, to access the value inside an optional, we first need to unwrap it. There are several methods to unwrap it. So suppose, I mean, now where am I going to here? Okay, unwrapping. If use an if let or guard let. So there are two ways. Use it's not if else. It's if let else. If let. And there is one more method we can do using guard else. There is one more method. There are three methods totally now. I guess in the book it will be mentioned later on because we haven't chosen guard or asynchronous, and then one more is forced unwrapping, right? Okay, now if let what does if let do? Suppose if you want to where is my optional value now? This is a function. Okay. To access the value inside an option, you need to remember there are several ways to do it. There is something called as okay. There is forced unwrap. Okay, it's right now. Let's not go that far. Optional chaining and do nil. This is the last option. It's going to be third, fourth, fifth. Always the last option is Nil Coalescing, and then okay. So now first we are going to do is first unwrapping is using if let. So oh, because here I am using this variable inside, right? So ah, so what if I want to do it in a return value thing? Like unwrapping optional in return values. This is going to be an optional value. Unwrapping the optional return value. So whenever I'm going to call where is the unwrapped result coming from? This is the optional value going to be returned. I ignore this. So this is based on certain condition. If this has whatever string is being passed, then return something. It's return nil. So now since I don't know, since this is an optional return value, the return value I'll have to do something. Now what is this unwrapped value result? Where is this coming from? if the result, okay, so yeah, the explanation is here. If the result contains a value, it gets this value, and then we are going to print, else we are going to print this. The else block is executed. But then why can't we access options directly? Because we don't know whether. Okay, so okay, if I say if if we have the value, then do something else, then we don't have the value. Okay, so let's return something. Remember, now I'm starting this farm, and this is your test. Let's do something here. Let's so this is passing in an array. This is a string. Then I'm going to return a string which is an optional. So then open the braces code. Now then if I say if some function, so there is no username here, so instead of username let's make it name. Let's see, make it name. Okay, and I copy it. Okay, so now I'm going to accept that value, right? So I say result, where result, where result. Now how should we assign it? So is that value getting assigned to unwrapped? Okay, so then let's call it. But then you cannot directly use it, right? Where is my test? Okay, so I'm going to call this as. Now this will work, but I'm not using this value anywhere. I guess this will still work. Okay, so yeah, your nil is going to be getting returned. I'm passing in a string, and this is not contained, right? Okay. But then suppose if I try to use that value, say I want to print result, this shouldn't work. See, expression implicitly goes from however there is some sort of implicit typecasting taking place, but so now what he's saying is force unwrap the value over this value explicitly cast to any this still does work. No, so what if I okay, so now contains a non-optional value, and if you get an optional value you could do whatever you want to do here. Okay, so for example this is string, right? And then on the function call, in the function call itself, so this will give me a warning and it will say like you need to unwrap it. It wouldn't work. Does it work? It does still work because here it assumes that the data type is string, but it just gives a warning. However, some okay, I get it. Where it won't work. What if I do this now? So this will give me, should give me an error. Now I can't do. See? Oh, in one way to do is there is another way. Okay, if you don't want to handle optionals, uh, use type inference. But this is bad. Always prefer to handle optionals. See, now it is not letting me assign directly over here. It's saying that an optional string must be unwrapped to a value of type string. So now I have to do that if let thing. So let's do if let, and then I say but then I want to assign it to result, right? So this is going to first unwrap it. If it's then do the functional call optional, this is also not right. Oops, that's, oh yeah, do right. Let's see expect. Oh yeah, and then else will be do something. So now when I'm going to unwrap it and assign it to, then I want it assigned to result, right? My result should be a string. So then should I say result is, should I then say this it is unwrapped, and then print this is okay. So this way I guess I can do the safe ending, and then when I print print what, so when I print backslash this variable result used before being initialized. So this is a result. This is called, I'm assigning the value here. Is this piece of code wrong? Why? Control this one. Am I not trying to use it then? What is wrong? Should the variable you're trying to assign a result inside the if block, but the variable is not initialized. This causes a problem because this requires all optional variables be initialized. So let this have like an empty string value. That's what it's trying to say. Can I have this as an, okay, there is one more catch here. You always initialize something. So this is, now it should, I'll make result itself an optional. And it may or may not contain a string. But then again, if I use result as an optional to access, but then now to wrap this result I need something. Now this high is going to do the so this is for the, this first unwrapping is for the string, first unwrapping is for the function, then there should be another, when I make this optional as well, now I need to do two unwrappings. Now this is here, the this return value is unwrapped, but this result is not unwrapped, so return it, unwrap it again. Yes, basically what he's saying is initialize this value, else make this else I'll have to perform that and dropping 4 times. But why does it say initialized? Use before initialized. So he's saying that if I'm trying to use a variable, it will be initialized before usage. For example, but then this wasn't. Did I initialize it while using? Oh, I might have initialized. I might have declared it and then initialized it further on. Is it after the? Yeah, I've just declared it. This is the initialization, right? I mean, yeah, I'm initializing it. Then why is this not giving me an error? Like, this is letting bug. I mean, this is working right. This doesn't give any error saying cannot be can use it before initialization. Even this is like initializing it with. What if I declare something like that? 23. Is this case another? No. See, this does not give me error. Way. Why is I am not getting an error? Here I'm not doing the initialization. I'm deferring the initialization. This is because a non-optional string must have a valid value. Nice. But playground does not give me any error. I Playground has a more lenient behavior when it terms of variables. It will also declare and initializing them. This is because playground is designed for experimenting. Okay, so what he is saying is playground will be a bit um but if I do the same thing in for example string 3 without an if I run it with uh, if I yeah if I try to it does not give any error while declaring. This is strange. Let me confirm this. Sometimes display ground depend never Now, since what he's saying is, since I'm using this on my playground, that's hence this is not giving me an error, but it is always, if I don't initialize, then it will give me an error here. But this is because type inference, right? What if you don't know the type and if you want to be strict? So then we always initialize it. This is the bet. I guess in this export in is any repository open? No, that's this is an export, right? What is going to buy something? Okay, this is so let's this is you need to declare a variable, right? That shouldn't be a problem. So how do we do that? What is happening there? Okay, I will agree. Just some, yeah. If I do that, just and say and do not initialize it. Will that be my error? Oh, this is taking ages. Oh, global array declaration requires an initialization. Yeah, this will say an initializer is add an initializer to silence this error. You initialize it with a certain value. Okay, so one thing to remember. Let's go here. Okay, so now remember. So one more thing that we want to remember is always initialize. Initialize. Initialize variables. It might, even if you don't do that, it might work without initialization in playground. But when we in but in UI, but in export it will given. So yeah, maybe need to initialize this before using it as a string. That's why we were getting that, and then I thought that would work, but then playgrounds kind of, yeah, we are messing around with things here. Yeah, so always initialize. This is important. Remember this, initialize. Okay, where were we? Oh, we were somewhere here. No, okay. Springboard, wait. Yeah, some internal processes, nothing to be worried. Okay. Now see, we have only learned one method, right? So even now here, when we were using it, we had to do it. But now, what if even this is a, what if we want string it an option? So, what if we want this is an option? See, now you cannot directly use here. You need to unwrap it. So what? So come here, let's do the unwrapping using here. Let this is unwrap. And then if this is, if my name has the string, right, then I need to do something. So just, then I do not need this actually. Let this Okay, then let this condition be inside. I would say this, does this happen that way? Or it's basically directly unwrapping. You know, now I can directly say if this is unwrapped, and then I'm going to check for that value. Um, where was I? Here, so yeah, right. So then yeah, then optional string. Okay, this is for return value. I'm not talking about return value. We have a parameter that is an optional parameter which is optional. Uh, there is an option. Wait. This is when the return value is starting. There was two events right somewhere I saw. I don't know if it was yeah somewhere it was. That if that is already going to unwrap the string, right? Let's note this. Let's see. Now here is basically so yeah, return is the okay. First is I'm going to unwrap it. Now then what should I do? Hmm. Does it need to option function parameters not in Python. Let's see. Yeah, misspelled it now. Okay, so now this parameters. So I'm going to unwrap this name. So then, yeah, when now your name is going to get unwrapped, and then I need to check whether that value is a part of this array, right? So this will be when, let's say if say users dot contain, then that is if that uses some same address, this is users dot now let's say contains or returns a boolean indicating whether the collection contains the given segment. This is there is a given predicate. So I say so I do contains, and then I check in my that's what, right? So I do contains in parentheses. Suppose that this is containing this oh I need to this contains and dot then print 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 then else I'm printing then what if the force interrupting has failed over here? So this else will be okay, don't mention this here. Then just come out here and say, you know what, it's return Nil requires a contextual type. What is this error I'm getting? We are just getting unwrap. This is let's check it. Contextual, contextual type. Contextual type. It is not a function that is a string. Okay. Okay. Neither does not. Oh, don't do it. But then I need to have there as well something, right? It should be. It is missing a return, right? So if I'm returning a mail, but then yeah, if this else doesn't come out, then I need to say return this one. Uh, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. Have a two isolate. So this, yeah, you know what? I can format this thing a little bit. Not found. There should be an option to format, right? Create code, something. What do we do? Delete, delete, escape. You know what? Let this be the global return here. So let's have the global return thing here. I mean, if this is for the optional, right? And this is if it does not match the array. So even if it does not match the array, then I say return nil. Perfect. And else I do. This is for an option. What if I have a return value? Then I do return nil there. But still I need a global return, right? Global should be present. Now it's not. Because this is the this would miss a global return. That's right. This is the return. So let this else is not mandatory. You can return nil. Else is not mandatory. So in if let, that's right. If let else is optional. Is not mandatory. Is mandatory. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, we did this. Now we have both the parameter and the this. So then we said, if you want to get rid of all this, do a forced unwrapping. No, that is not the option. Oh, we went down. Okay, implicitly. Okay, now this is string. Do a forced. Many times I want to be implicitly enter options when we are working with user interface elements. You like it on iOS or update on macOS. These need to be declared upfront. Okay. Now implicitly unwrapped optionals. You can also use this exclamation mark syntax to create implicitly unwrapped options, which is where some people really start to get confused. So please read this carefully. So first thing is we have done, we have done the unwrapping using if let. So we are not doing the first, we are checking whether we have the nil value or not. Now force and unwrapping optionals. Now if let's see override its safety by using exclamation character. If you know that an option definitely has a value, then you can force unwrap it by placing this exclamation mark after it. So suppose if I'm returning the value, and if I definitely know that it is going to return a value, then I can do something called as forced unwrapping. So then just put a question mark in front of it. Sorry, exclamation mark. I'm certain this will contain the value, so force unwrap it now. Broadly, okay, when he has done. When I do implicitly, then it is forced unwrapping. So this has to do a string and then put an exclamatory mark and then always assign the value. So here an implicitly unwrapping option might contain a value or might not, but it does not need to be unwrapped before it is used. In fact, one check for you, so you need to be extra careful. For example, string might contain a string or it might contain nil. And it's down to you as a user to appropriately, it's like a regular option, but say, let's say access the value directly. Okay, so now this is when we are doing the unwrapping. So now let's dive in. There is one more way to do it. The other is okay. Now let's see forced unwrapping first. Okay, forced unwrapping is just putting an exclamation mark over here in front. That means if I have an exclamation mark, it means forced. And whenever we type inference, that is also something like forced, right? We won't do forced. Optional checking. Working when options can feel a bit clumsy and all unwrapping and checking can become unwise that you might be tempted to throw some exclamation marks to force unwrap stuff so you can get it to work. Be careful if the first unwrap an option doesn't have a value of what will correct. Swift has two techniques to make sure. Now this is a first unwrapping done by using exclamation mark never refer. If okay. Optional, then we do something called as optional chaining. Now optional chaining, we want this will work on object. Now if this is nil or undefined, the answer is nil. And else this will be like this will go off if we have something here. This will be this dot this. Am I right? Then this won't work when we are working, right? Yeah, this is doing a switch case. So uppercase is already a string inbuilt method, right? There is no so let's do optional chaining. Optional chaining is done with the help of a question mark. Left is nil. Answer is nil. Else acts like a bridge, you can say. Okay. Now Nil Coalescing. Nil Coalescing makes your cure more simpler and safer, and yet that's such a grandiose name that many people are scared of it. This is a shame because Nil Coalescing operator will make your life easier if you take the time to figure it out. So it's okay. What does it say? Let me say use value A if you can, but if value A is nil, then use value B. So Nil Coalesce. Coalesce is basically to add an extra value, I feel. So add values meaning in so coalesce meaning in English is to add, is to come together or unite as a single whole. So, let's write it. 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 So, let's wr Coalescing means to come together or unite into a single whole. Okay. So now to define name, this is Nil Coalescing. So if we're done by okay. Let string let name colon string option is equal to nil. The default name is okay, if name is nil. If nil is nil, then the operator coalesce is the default value. So if this is nil, then coalesce add guess. So then defaultly okay. Single that means let's have so if name this is double question mark. Let's see. If name is nil and name value is guessed, else it is the value it contains. Okay, so in both general programming contexts, coalesce refers to this operation of so if this has some value, let that. If this is nil, then go for unknown. That is what coalescing is doing, I mean. Okay, so let's only thing that we didn't study is guard else, right? Okay, let's try to we learned because this nil coalescing is going to come again and again and again. So let's see what we studied. We studied optionals. The optionals are basically it may or may not contain values. The first is so then we can't directly use optionals. We need to perform unwrap. Then we studied first was using if let and then else is optional, else is not mandatory. And then the other way is to do an optional chaining. This is using question mark, SFSNVM question mark and then dot some method. So then the way it works is if name is nil, method is nil, and question mark behaves like a bridge. Okay, then after optional chaining, let's come to third point is if not third was nil coalesce. So nil coalesce is basically we use question mark double question marks. This is so if I say name question mark guest, and if I say name is name Answer is dash else name menu. And there was three things. Nil Coalescing, optional chaining. There was a card data as well. We haven't set in card keywords, so I wouldn't talk much about that. But yeah. And then there is forced unwrapping, which is never ever before. Okay, and next we'll be doing this is when the core structure of Swift is going to start. Also, we learned that always initialize a variable, be it with some value, be it with an empty value or something, because Xcode while using it in gives an error. So that's all for today, guys. Hope you guys are having a good year and see you in the next one with the nubs. Thanks. Bye.